Konnichiwa, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Japanese Faves series where we'll cover every major type of Japanese food. This lesson is Buta Niku Donburi, or miso-grilled pork chop donburi. Donburi is traditionally a rice bowl with toppings. The first time I had donburi in a tiny 10-seat restaurant in Kyoto, I was blown away. The dish was served in thick stone bowls in which the rice had been baked, giving the rice a little crispiness and keeping it warm throughout the meal. The topping was a umami bomb of onions, mushrooms, beef, and Japanese flavorings. Buta Niku means pork in Japanese, and don means bowl. For this donburi dish, you will marinate the pork in a mixture of red miso, sake, mirin, sesame, and Shio Koji. I have a separate lesson on making Shio Koji. Then you'll grill the pork, turning it every minute and brushing it with marinade. I'm plating the pork over rice, but it would also be good over coleslaw, or coleslaw over rice with the pork on top. I'll never forget my first donburi experience, chowing down with friends at the counter, while the next 10 hungry guests stood behind us waiting for a seat to open up. I hope your donburi experience is just as memorable. So let's start cooking. Okay, to make our miso grilled pork chop, first thing we're going to do is mix the marinade. So we're going to start with the red miso, add the sake, the mirin, sesame oil, Shio Koji. I have a separate lesson on making Shio Koji, Shio Koji, and amazake, which are great Japanese marinades. Have a lot of umami. They can also serve as salt substitutes. Then we'll add the golden sesame paste. Buttermilk, and the gochujang. All right, then we'll mix that up, and you know, the red miso is a little bit hard to mix in. You'll just have to work on that a little bit. Get it broken up in the liquid, mix it around, mash it against the sides of your bowl. That'll help to break up the paste. There we go. Looks good, smells good. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pierce the pork chops with a fork. Why do we do this? It enables the marinade to penetrate into the meat. Okay, we're going to do this on both sides of both pork chops. Okay, now we're going to take some of the marinade and we're going to rub it into the meat, okay? Both sides. Okay, now let's place our pork chops into the marinating bag. All right, now let's place the rest of our marinade into the bag. Now, let's seal up the bag. Let's try to get most of the air out of it. And then we want to try to kind of massage those pork chops around inside the bag with the marinade so that they're well coated and covered. All right. Then I'm going to put this onto a pan to catch any leakage, and we're going to marinate this in the refrigerator for at least an hour, but you can go overnight if you want. It just depends on when you're doing it. The longer you marinate, the more flavor is going to get imparted to the meat. I'm going to be marinating today for about 7 hours, because it's about 12:30 now. I'll be taking it out to cook around 7:30. So into the fridge to marinate. Okay, our pork has been marinating for several hours. Now what we're going to do is season it with some pepper, and then we're going to brush it with some marinade. Now when you take it out of the marinade, it may already have a lot of marinade on it. You might not need to brush it. You just have to use your judgment, okay? We want to have a little coating of the marinade on the pork, and then we're going to do the other side the same way. Okay, now we're going to go to the stove. All right, now we're going to put some hot high smoke point oil into our cast iron pan. How much? About a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half. And we're going to put this on to medium heat, maybe just slightly below medium, okay? Now, while that oil is heating up, I want to say something about the accompaniment. In the introduction and in the description, I said to serve this with sushi rice or with coleslaw or cabbage, very popular in Japan. Now I'm going to serve it with sushi rice, and I have a separate lesson on making sushi rice, but I wanted to show you that I did something a little special tonight. This is not part of the lesson. I cooked the rice in chicken stock instead of cooking in water. That imparts extra flavor. Okay, and then I cut up some shiitake mushrooms and put them in with the rice while it was cooking, so that imparts some extra flavor. And then I cooked some Brussels sprouts, seared them. First I actually blanched them for about 10 minutes, plunged them into an ice bath, cut them into quarters, and then I seared them, actually sauteed them with a little bit of chopped up bacon. Now what I do with the bacon to get rid of the smoky flavor is I boil the bacon, bring it to a boil, and let it simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes, then cut it up into small pieces. So and then I use some sea salt. So Brussels sprouts, bacon, sea salt, sauteed in olive oil or high smoke point oil. Got them a little browned around the edges there, and mix that all together. So that's what I'm going to use as the base for this dish. You can just use, regular cooked rice. You can use coleslaw, okay? I just wanted to give something with a little extra flavor tonight. Like I said, that's not part of the lesson. So we want to get this oil hot, and then we're going to start cooking our pork. Okay, so we're going to put our pork chops in the pan. How do we know the oil's hot? It's shimmering, okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to let them cook for 1 minute and then turn them. Okay, so it has been 1 minute. We're going to turn them, and we're going to brush them with marinade on each turn. We're going to cook on this side for 1 minute. Okay, it's been our 2nd minute. We're going to turn them again, brush them with marinade, and go another minute. Okay, it's been 3 minutes. Let's turn them again and brush them again and go another minute. Okay, it's been 4 minutes. We're going to turn them again and brush them again. But this time we're going to let them cook for about 2 to 5 minutes, depending on how thick they are, okay? If they're on the thicker side, we're going to need 4 to 5 minutes to get them to medium. If they're on the thinner side, which these are, we're probably going to need about 2 minutes, okay? We're just going to let them, so I'm going to let these cook for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to take them off the heat, let them rest. Okay, it's been 2 minutes. I'm going to turn them over briefly because they have marinade on them that was on the raw pork. So we're just going to turn them over just for about 20 seconds or so. Take them off the heat, let them rest for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're going to slice them and plate up. Okay, now we want to take our pork chops. Remember, this serves 2. That's why we have 2 pork chops. We're going to slice these into about 1/2 inch strips, okay? And then we're going to place these on top of the pork. I'm sorry, on top of the rice. Okay, there we go. Do the other one at the same time. And our pork, by the way, is perfectly medium, okay? All right, now we're going to plate up. All right, now to plate up, very simple. We just put the pork on top of the rice. Now, you can put it on here very neatly like this. That's one way to do it. Or you can mix it up. I prefer it to be more mixed up. Okay, that is the conclusion of Buta Niku Don, or Donburi 2. You can see photos of the final dish at my Instagram, which is at Chef's Apprentice, Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.